Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders, episode 155 for June 30th, 2015. We are almost halfway through the year. Time flies when you're having fun. My name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and this week the editor of the podcast, and today I'm joined by...
Flutterguy317, I'm the media manager for the podcast.
I'm Atmospark. I'm the questions and DeviantArt guy.
And today we're also joined by a special co-host. You'll remember him from last week's Spoilercast. It's Dewlshock.
Woo! I'm back.
Hello.
Yay.
So, Bernd is out this week.
He's in Alaska.
To make a long story short, basically what happened was Bernd forgot to sign up for his summer classes. So then his parents were like, all right, cool, we're going to Alaska. And in a weird turn of events, now he's in Alaska for the next little bit. We don't really know for how long. Did he say how long?
2 weeks, I think. 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so he's there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks.
Oh, he's
So
not coming back.
He's never coming back. He has to take care of his Alaskan children.
Yeah. Also his moose, apparently.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
I am his moose.
So he will not be on this week, obviously, because he's not here. I don't know whether or not he's going to be here next week. I'm going to err on the side of no, because he couldn't manage to come this week, but we'll see on that one.
Yeah.
So instead, we got Duel.
Yeah.
Woo!
So now we have 2 Australians.
How does it feel to be the backup?
I will take over the rambling, so don't worry about that. I've got it.
Oh boy.
Joel, you're so saucy this week. Are
I'm
you mad
salty.
because he talked more on the spoiler cast than you did?
Maybe I'm just mad because gay marriage got legalized.
Wow.
What a
I mean-
segue.
We were supposed to talk about Bali, and also
Yeah, screw Bali.
Yeah, you're going to Bali for the next 2 weeks, Joel, right?
I am. Also, why did you call it Bali? It's Bali.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same. Anyways,
I'm going to Bali, next.
you said it the same way I did.
You did.
Yeah.
No, you said Bali at first. I'm going to Bali.
Yeah.
This time next week.
I'm going
this
crazy.
time next week, I'll be on a plane.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
For vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah, have fun on
2 weeks.
vacation.
Nice.
All right, so can we just spent like a minute here completely avoiding the fact that Joel just said he doesn't support gay marriage. It's not true. For the record. Before people write up angry emails and comments on and Twitter things, it's not true.
I expect that there will be blurbs from this episode, just that one part taken out completely out of context, all over the internet.
I do not support gay marriage. Atmospark 2015. So yeah, today gay marriage got legalized in the States as of when we're recording this, which is June 26th, which is pretty cool. I know that all of us on the podcast support gay marriage pretty heavily. I know that personally, as a bisexual guy, I'm pretty, I'm pretty for that. So it's pretty cool to see that kind of finally go through in the States, because I think the States has a lot of influence on other places. So to see that kind of, propagate there now finally to all of the states is really quite amazing.
Yeah, Australia will definitely follow. I predict.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it will.
Well, Canada's already. I think it's on a province by province basis, but I know at least Ontario, the province that I live in, has had it since 2005. So, way to catch up. No, but seriously, that is really awesome, and major support to any of our LGBT, whatever acronyms you want to add onto that. Listeners in the U.S. and across the world and stuff.
Can we just list
awesome.
the entire alphabet? Because I'm sure that,
A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
yeah.
viewers. Yeah. Anyways, the last thing that I wanted to talk about before we got to the art today was recently we've been getting more fan art into our email, which is awesome. And usually we collect those, and if they're on DeviantArt, we favorite them and leave a comment and stuff like that. Unless it's 3rd anniversary art, in which case we'll be featuring that next week, and we'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But we've been recently getting fan art from someone named Flutterlove, right, Joel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so Flutterlove has been sending us in awesome pieces of fan art, but he doesn't have a DeviantArt page,
Mhm.
so they're just attaching the images to the email, which is cool and everything, but we would love to have them on DeviantArt so we could favorite them and comment on them and like put them in our fan art folder and stuff like that. So I figured, I feel bad for not giving you a shout out, not giving you a fave, whatever. So I'd feature some of your stuff on the show. We'll feature these 4. It seems like Flutterlove has taken. I believe at some point we answered a question about like what our favorite animals were, or like who our pets would be, and so like we've got Joel, we've got you with what is that, a hawk?
Yeah,
You're getting carried off by I think that's an eagle or something. I'm not sure.
yeah, it'd be an eagle, I think.
Yeah, and Burn's there with an owl, with an updated main cut too, so that's cool.
Yeah,
Got a mohawk.
Yeah, and Ted, we've got you with a little fox there, which is adorable. Super adorable.
Yeah.
And then finally me with an otter, and we're both eating cookie dough ice cream and floating down the river. So that's awesome.
See,
Great.
I'm just picturing, because you're controlling the magic for both you and the otter spoon. Like, I'm just imagining like it's gonna get poked somewhere with its spoon, because you're gonna go and like eat your ice cream, and it's just not gonna be ready for it.
Ted, do you think I'm some sort of amateur? I'm an experienced magic user. All right.
Okay.
In fact, I take offense to that statement. I would never hurt my little otter buddy.
He's so cute.
Otter.
He's adorable. They're all it's all adorable, and they're all really awesome. So thank you so much for doing that. Please make a DeviantArt and put them on him so that we can favorite them and track them so we don't forget about them, because it's very difficult to keep track of fan art coming in from different places. So it'd be really, really awesome, and we'd really appreciate it if you made a DeviantArt. So yeah.
Yes.
And you are like, people are like, I don't want to make a DeviantArt because I'm not good enough. You are. First of all, everybody is, but like you're a good artist, so please make a DeviantArt.
They're beautiful.
What he said.
You're beautiful.
It's
All right.
true.
So yeah, that's everything I want to talk about. Do you guys want to talk about art, or do you have anything else you want to talk about? We got like 3 minutes.
No,
You wanna
I
just-
think that's it for the podcast.
Oh, okay. 8-minute podcast.
Well, that's a wrap, guys. So
Oh.
we're good.
I have a thing.
Now let's move on to art.
Oh, what's
Have we
up,
said what
Bill?
episode number this is?
Yeah, it's 155.
Yeah.
Duel, you said you had something?
Yeah, so next week I'm going on a trip with friends, and we decided to book a mystery hotel. So what happens
What?
is... Yeah. So what happens is, instead of booking like at a hotel that you already know about it, what you do is you book like a random hotel, and it says 3 nights for 3 people, and that's all you know about it. And so you book it at a cheaper price, right? And then once you book it, then it gives you all the information of it. So like where it is, what hotel it is, what amenities you get, etc.
Huh.
So that was interesting.
So you're just gonna go stay in a random hotel.
I thought it was going to be haunted. I was against the
you
idea,
ended up getting
but
Why
We
would
actually
you be
got a nice
against
place.
the idea of a haunted hotel? That'd be cool.
yeah. Yeah, we got a nice place, and it was cheaper than regular. And yeah, it all turned out pretty well.
Well, in stark contrast to that, I'm staying at a really nice place in Bali.
Sweet.
That personally sounds like terrifying for me, because like, and I'm not sure if Ted would be the same way, but like I like to be really organized about things.
Mhm.
Like when I'm planning trips, I'd rather like have a couple of solid things. So for like BronyCon, like I want badges to be solid, I want hotels to be solid, I want travel plans to be solid. Everything else, whatever, man. You know, like we'll do what we will on the trip, right? But as long as we have like a couple of like foundation things. So like to hear that, I'd be like,
I
You
was
know,
so skeptical.
Yeah. Expedia does something like that. But I think like you give it a location and like a radius, and then I think you give it like a minimum star rating. So like you can say I want to stay in at least a 3-star hotel or whatever, and it'll kind of pick one for you.
Can you stay at a maximum star? So like if I said like a maximum 2-star hotel, like I wanna go down to
You
the
want the
roots of
worst
like a really
possible-
crappy motel, you know?
Yeah.
I want to see the worst hotels. That'd be cool.
I'm
Well,
sure you
that's weird. So you said that you've already stayed there,
Oh no.
no next week.
or are you
Next
going
week.
to?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, but you seem to like say that it's like it actually came out nice. So do you guys now know
Oh,
what the
now,
hotel is?
yeah. Now we know.
Oh, okay. So I was expecting you to be like, all you have is the address, and you're gonna go there and just find out when you get there.
You show up and it's like a cardboard box.
Yeah. Yeah. This when we searched on it on Google Maps, it was a dark alley. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard of that before. That's a bit strange, but
Yeah, it was.
we'll see how it works out. If you die next week, then maybe it won't be the best thing. But like, maybe it'll work out better.
Then we'll
Gotta
have an
keep
opening
positive.
at BronyCon. No, we hope you the best, or we wish you the best.
We
Thanks.
hope you the best. We hope that you the best. All right, let's go on to art.
Yes.
Arts.
Duel, you're first.
Woo. Okay. I picked this art. It's called Levitation Meditation by Cosmic Unicorn. And it's got Best Pony.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, wow.
We're
Bringing
dropping
that right up
bombs
there.
already here. Jeez.
Wow.
I feel like that's all you need to say for the rest of the podcast. Like that's your like mic drop moment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm on CAC. Twilight's Best Pony. See ya.
Your argument is invalid. She's levitating
Wow.
upside down and meditating. And it's really nice. I love it.
Uh-huh.
Good summary.
What really caught my attention was the background, actually.
Uh-huh.
You'll notice that the background's actually a solid black, except for the bottom starriness. But, like, that's what really caught my attention, because most pieces will have the subject as the focus, and then either an environment or just a color background. But I thought it was a really bold move for Cosmic Unicorn to make the background like a solid black. But I think it looks really nice in this piece. Like, it really works with what she's trying to convey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the important thing in that regard is, we've seen other pieces with like solid color backgrounds before, and obviously out of any of the solid colors, black works the best for a solid color background. But I think the important thing when it comes to those kind of backgrounds is to just pay attention to like, what does that mean, and the way that Cosmic Unicorn kind of ties that in this piece is that she makes it a part of the environment, right? So you can tell by the way that this glittering pool of whatever, right, it kind of fades off in the background, as well as how Twilight reacts compared to the light near her horn, compared to like the bottom of her hooves, which are darker. The black background conveys a sense that the scene in general is very, very dark. Mm-hmm. And through those other cues that I was mentioning, she kind of brings it around. So it's not just that there's one color background. It's like that background is, in fact, a part of the environment. It just happens to be so dark that it's one color.
Yeah. It's almost surreal in a way, just by the colors chosen. Because you don't see black, like pure black, normally in any like landscape pieces or any art kind of reflecting reality. Although, to be fair, like if you go into a dark cave and there's no light whatsoever, it is going to be kind of pure black. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like the idea because she's called it levitation meditation, and the whole sort of meditation thing is to focus on you and on yourself. And that's all there is in this. It's just Twilight.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
so
a lot
that,
of pretty colored stars, too.
Eh.
Eh.
That's just,
what do you mean?
That's just. That's irrelevant.
Wow.
You're irrelevant.
Wow.
Sorry, let me take that back. You're actually an elephant.
You're irrelevant.
You're an irrelevant
I'm
elephant.
irrelevant. I'm a hippopotamus.
Yeah. All right. I really enjoy in this piece the usage of a lot of different textures. So the glimmering pool or whatever, it's very glittery, it's very grainy, it's almost like a starry sky in a way, but almost like someone also took a bag of glitter and just went, "Blah,"
I'm gonna be the worst.
Someone sent Twilight a glitter bomb, basically.
Yeah, and she's dramatically being struck by it. Or but it's not only that, right? Like you've also got this kind of like bubbly, magical texture near her horn that goes into a more granular effect at the tip of the horn. But you've also got this kind of like shifting, almost like speed lines in her body. It's almost, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very kind of, it gives this sense of motion in her body, and so you combine these different textures and this different feeling and these different effects to different parts of the piece, and it's interesting. It's like it segments the piece into chunks of interesting artistic style, and each one is different.
It's like a bit of a blur on her body, actually, all the way around.
Yeah, exactly.
And
although it's interesting because it doesn't really seem like a motion blur, because a motion blur would be in just one direction. So maybe it's kind of like part of the whole meditation theme, where you kind of like fuzz out reality.
You know, in those like old, I'm thinking of like superheroes right now. Like whenever they go like really fast or whatever, like when they're teleporting from one place to another, they might like do like a little like jiggle up and down. It's kind of like a glitchy effect in a way, you know. It reminds me of like bad television signals or whatever, you know. That's kind of like that jitter up and down. That's what it reminds me of, you know. It's really kind of like that moment right before teleportation, something happens and it jiggles, and then you're gone, you know?
I really like
I don't know how else to describe it.
I really like her anatomy, like how it's not quite all pony, not quite all horse. It's sort of a horse-pony mix.
Horse.
Honey?
Well, you know.
Like, it's more realistic, the anatomy, than like in the show style.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like straying towards an animal's anatomy more so than a cartoon's anatomy. Although it keeps the proportions very similar to the show's proportions. It just gives a lot more definition than what the show does.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
She looks really serene. She's just floating there. I like how her neck's really long, like her head's just hanging down, and like all her mane and tail just sort of hanging under gravity.
Yeah, it's such a weird juxtaposition, though, between the pose that she has and the feeling that it's kind of conveying, right? Because the pose that she has is so dynamic. She's upside down, stretching and bending her neck. Her hair is falling, and we'll get back to the hair in a second, but like her hooves are splayed. That's a very dynamic pose, right? It kind of gives off this sense of motion in a way, and the blur kind of does it a little bit as well. But then, you do get this sense of sereneness, and the hair is just laying flat.
Yeah.
Serenity
it's just
now.
Really intense yoga pose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but like the hair
it reminds me of yoga.
Yeah, the hair does the opposite effect, right? Like it gives off the sense that no, she's not actually moving very fast. Her hair is conforming to gravity, and it's lying on the ground, and she is just posed that way. But it's such a interesting juxtaposition between those two.
Maybe
feeling
her hair
of
is
the piece
holding
and
her
the
up.
pose.
Oh, could be.
Yeah.
Do you think she
hair
has
is
like bones?
Her hair has like a steel rod going up that you can't see.
Wires.
I want to see like an actual sculpture of that now.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I guess you could. It's kind of built to be able to do that. This reminds me, like, if I'm trying to think of the scene in which this is around, it reminds me of like some sort of epic dance that's happening, and like she's doing all these crazy moves, and at some point she kind of like slow motion does this flip, and this is kind of like a snapshot from it, But it's like, it's not that it's slow motion; it's like she actually goes into slow motion. You know what I mean? Like, there's some sort of it gives a very big dance vibe to me.
Yeah.
Well, I get the sense that, as Ted was saying earlier, like being in a cave underground where there's no light at all, and I get that sense because there's what looks like water on the ground, as well as like it's what those stars are, and there's a reflection of her. I feel like she's gone to some cave to be with herself and is doing this meditation.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is how perfect the reflection is in this pool of water.
So it's really still water.
Yeah, which kind of goes towards the she's not moving camp, because if she was, there would be ripples from her hair. So,
that's another great point.
Everything is very, very still.
Yeah, I figure it's more like a surface than a body of water. Like it's just like
kind of like ice, you mean? Almost.
Yes.
Like,
something like that.
Interesting. Well, I think there's a lot up to interpretation with this piece, and
I know what you did.
It's a very thoughtful piece. Like I find with Cosmic Unicorn, she makes a lot of very deep pieces. What we see at first isn't always like just she doesn't make bite-sized kind of like, ooh, like I can just nibble on this, oh, this is cute or something, right? She makes very deep pieces, very
Everything she
thoughtful
does
things.
has a lot of thought gone into it.
Yeah, exactly. And she has few things and they're far between, and I think that's because she spends so much time thinking of what to put in each piece precisely,
Yeah.
Oh, you're
It's
gonna
cool.
love this then. So what she's done in the description of DeviantArt is she's just left a poem as the comment,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's
Yeah.
completely disabled comments on the whole piece.
She does it in all of those.
Well, yeah, she does that on all of hers, unfortunately.
Is it all of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do get what you mean, though. There's almost like a sereneness to the page below it as well.
Yeah, like nothing to detract from the piece, so that people can just think about it and
Yeah.
sort of see it and really.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is certainly.
We've met
something.
her. We had dinner with her.
It's true.
Mhm.
Sweet.
I
We
have
did
a
have dinner
painting
with
from
her.
her. I have 2 paintings from her, actually.
Also,
All right,
it's
let's move
16
on
by
to the
9
next piece.
wallpaper.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the next piece is called Human Fluttershy by Limbo the Lost. And this popped up
This is yours?
Yes. This popped up in my feed a few weeks ago. And I thought it was really adorable. And it's traditionally done, I think, using markers. Probably Copic markers. And yeah, it's cute.
hmm I really like seeing traditional art still being represented on DeviantArt, because I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the amount of digital art that's in the pony fandom, and there's a lot of amazing and cool artists who do fantastic things with digital art, that great effects, Photoshop effect, the thing that Cosmic Unicorn just made, right? Like, that's a wonderful digital piece,
Mm-hmm.
something that's incredibly difficult to recreate in traditional. But that doesn't mean that traditional is any less kind of, worth doing. So it's always great to see that. And in addition, I think in a way, I'm almost more impressed when someone makes
Yeah,
a really,
I was
really
gonna
good
say.
traditional piece.
Yeah. And traditional, really, really good traditional stuff is more impressive because there is no undo.
Yeah.
You have to think about layers because stuff will bleed through. You have to think about, if you're using, for example, watercolors, you have to think about which way your canvas is rotated because water will run
Mm-hmm.
with gravity
hmm Yeah.
and it will absorb different materials in different ways.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's also just the aspect of I see it less.
Yeah.
There's a certain impact that comes with seeing a piece a little bit less than others.
And kind of on the same note, like, it's very difficult to make a digital piece look exactly like a traditional piece because there's just so much variation in the real
It does have its
physical
own
world.
charm.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess like to a certain extent, like, it's also really impressive when a digital artist can mimic traditional art really well.
Very difficult to do, yeah.
But in this piece, I really like how the shading was done, especially on like Fluttershy's skin and in her hair and stuff.
Dress.
Yeah, it's just like different layers of different shades of these markers. I'm assuming it's markers, right? Maybe.
I believe
That
we were
looks
looking at another piece of hers and it, or his, either way, and it was mentioned that there was markers used in that one, so I assume that markers are probably used across all of their pieces.
It looks like Copic markers or something.
Yeah.
Like something with a variable width.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed, honestly. There are certain traditional mediums that I think lend themselves a little bit more easily to shading. When I see a pencil drawing that's shaded really well, that's like, oh yeah, cool, because pencil shading is kind of, I don't know, a little bit easier to do in a way, or a little bit more natural. When I see something like marker shading, to me, markers are things that I used when I was a kid, and they're just like one. No matter how hard you press, they were one shade,
Yeah.
So to see like this lightly kind of dusted yellow marker, or the pink in her hair, that's really cool. I didn't know that you could get such depth of shading. Maybe a harder shading style. I've seen other artists use markers to do like a harder shading style with different colors, right?
Yeah.
But something like this where it's very soft, that's really cool.
Well, it's interesting because with markers, because it is ink on paper, like you get almost a kind of watercolor effect, or you can get almost a watercolor effect because of how the ink bleeds into the paper. So
Right.
there's some places in this piece where you can kind of see that like the artist was going for a solid line, but there's a little bit of bleed outside of that line just because of how the ink dried into the paper. So I guess theoretically you could use that to your advantage and kind of create almost a watercolor looking piece using markers, which would be cool.
I really like.
Or you could just use actual watercolors.
Or you could do that, yeah.
That works too.
Yeah.
I really like
I think-
the way Fluttershy looks like anime-esque, like with her eye especially is noticeable, and her anatomy, and the dress how it puffs out, and her long hair. That's very telling of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Almost magical girl style, kind of.
I don't know what that means, Ted.
Yeah.
Watch
You're
more
not as big an
anime.
anime fan. You should. Anyhow, Joel, I think you brought up the line thickness earlier. And I
Yes.
really like how that was also done in this piece because you get like these.
I like how much it varies.
Yeah, you get these little defining lines like in her elbow and knees and also in her dress and stuff like that. And then you get these big thick outlines kind of surrounding her. Almost reminds me of what's his name? The guy that did the sketches that used to do thick outlines around things.
Joey Darkmeat?
Yeah, that's the guy.
There we go.
He
Nice.
still does.
He still does. I don't
Yeah,
know
he's
why I
still
haven't
around.
seen his stuff recently.
So,
Yeah,
did you guys notice the 3 butterflies?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't actually, but that's very cool.
There's 3 butterflies,
Yeah.
and
I guess some of them are quite hidden.
yeah,
Well,
I
there's
like
Well,
how
she's
the
also got a
big-
butterfly in the background, right? Like
Yeah.
the background
Big
is
one.
a butterfly shape as
That's what I was
well.
gonna say.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's weird
Yeah,
how
the-
it's cut off a bit, like the sides. I'm not sure why that was done. It seems to me like my mind just wants to fill in those little extra bits.
Hmm.
Oh, like the corners, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna, when it comes to that background, right? It's really cool. It's kind of cut out. It's kind of like a mask effect where she's got a cottage behind her, but it's cut out by this interesting butterfly shape. And I think that's really cool. But I would agree that that's kind of. I wish that I could see a little bit farther out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I want those corners kind of filled in. I wonder what the motivation behind cutting those corners off were.
I don't know. I think it kind of adds something to the artistic style having that because it kind of puts you right into the scene a little bit. Like because you can't see the tips of those, you're kind of up closer and you feel closer to the subject. Whereas if you could see them, I feel like it would feel farther away. I'm sure that there's some artistic aspect to it, and Bernd would probably rant for 15 minutes about it if he were here. But so part of me agrees, but part of me thinks that was done intentionally, and
Yeah, I can see that.
that it kind of gives a certain feel to the piece. Yeah, I don't know. I like the background. It's very simple.
Mm.
Again, the more detail is put onto the subject. There's all this shading on Fluttershy herself, but the background's kind of single shaded, although it does have kind of this watercolory effect in some places. Yeah.
It's another example of a piece that looks very simple when you first look at it, right? Like it's a little bit easier to just digest this piece and go, oh, that's nice. But there really is a layer of depth in here, a layer of skill and a layer of precision too. I mean, like when you talk about markers, they're not always the easiest things to handle, right? Like it's a bit more free-flowing ink than like a pencil that you can just erase, right?
Yeah.
And they're a little bit harder to handle. So it's really cool to see such a level of precision in the lines, all the line work and things like that, to be able to create something like this with markers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting with markers that you can see in this piece is when you get lines that overlap, there's kind of a darker dot and it kind of adds a cool effect. You kind of have to zoom in to see it in certain places, but like in her hair, especially, where you get these intersecting lines, just because like he laid down ink, and then with the second line, it was laying down more ink in that one position, and it's kind of
It's like using the multiply function in Photoshop.
yeah, neat.
Cool. All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Sure.
I guess.
Let's do it.
Oh, wait, it's mine, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. So, I chose this one. It's called What is Life by Moonadrake. And it's existential gummy being in the gummy zone.
Yeah. It's from episode 100, right? I guess it's like
Yeah.
inspired by that, right?
Paralyzed.
Yeah, inspired by the episode one thing. Sorry, putting my phone on silent.
Paralyzed Gummies log.
And
Paralyzed Gummies log.
Bravest Warriors.
Sorry, go on.
I don't know what Bravest Warriors is.
Joel, go on, please!
You've got this, he's standing on some sort of, like, a glass or marble finished surface where it's reflective, and it's reflecting him, and it's reflecting the sky, and the sky is all clouds pointing towards Gummy, and it's stars and stuff, and it's all Gummy is the center of the universe.
He is really.
Such wow.
What is life? Baby, don't hurt me.
I'm trying.
It's love.
I'm trying really hard to be like, it's Joel's piece, let him talk about it, bring up the things that he likes and things, and then there's that, and I'm like, all right, well then, let's take on over here.
I like the shininess of everything. Everything just looks so
also like shiny
existential
things, Joel.
and shiny.
I enjoy
looks shiny.
personally. I
clouds
really
look
enjoy
shiny.
the colors in this piece, but that might just be because I really, really, really like the color teal. So like that mix of blue and green together is just like, yeah, it's awesome. I might be biased.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Jill, I would like to hear your inner monologue when you first see this piece in the style that Leak Tokar gave to Gummy.
I can't do it.
Oh my god, I can know it.
Oh, man. Oh well.
I can't. I'll have to watch the episode again before I can do that.
I really like his eyes in this piece. They're very like striped, almost like Eye of Sauron kind of.
They're very detailed,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of detail that has gone into the eyes in order to make them a little bit more realistic, a little bit more alligatory.
Alligatory and shiny
Yeah.
and derped.
Really draws your eyes. Just stare into him.
No, Moonadrake draws the eyes.
This is weird. So this piece also has a pretty heavy reflection, like the Twilight piece, but this one's got a different perspective because I don't think you could say that this is water, because of the way that he's standing on it. It's some sort of reflective glass or something.
Like a marbly type surface.
Yeah, some sort of clear marbly surface, because it's just. It's amazing how those little cues can really change everything. In the Twilight piece, we couldn't really see, like whether or not she was, like, there's little displacement that you can see around stuff when it's in water, right? So couldn't really see it on her hair, and that was the only part that's touching. Whereas here, it's very clear that there's no water displacement around Gummy's little claws at all.
Yeah.
No.
I would like to imagine that this is Gummy becoming a princess.
Princess Gummy?
Yeah, he's ascended to that
Princess.
Celestia realm that Twilight went to, and
the Twilight Zone?
yeah, and he's about to get some wings.
This is the Gummy Zone. I want to see the Pinky Zone. It'll be full of balloons. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it'd be so bright.
Yeah.
Whoa!
What if this is the Pinky Zone, and Gummy's just like a resident in the Pinky Zone?
You're saying this is just a subdivision of the Pinky Zone?
Yeah. Deep, man.
I wonder what the zoning would be like. How much is rent in the Pinky Zone?
You guys are lucky. I'm so distracted right now, or I would just. Oh my goodness.
Do you think you have to apply for permits for like building stuff?
I would say so, at least. I
Everything
mean,
has to be
you don't
pink.
want to scratch the marble.
No, that's true. Do you think there's like a residential zone and a commercial zone?
Yeah, they got to make the balloons and stuff somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a coincidence that while this is going on, I'm fiddling with a knife?
Oh God.
Or is it some sort of like just natural reaction?
I don't know.
Do you think Max is in his own
Anyway,
zone?
bright outlines. I know Bernd loves those things,
Yes.
but it just makes the whole thing look more shiny.
Can you tell
It's
me
got
Miss
like a
Bernd?
glow.
This entire art feature, I've just been watching. I've been sitting back. It's kind of like watching a train wreck. It's kind of like watching episode 100 again.
Oh,
You know, like you don't really know what's happening, what's going to happen.
Ted, are we vinyl on Octavia?
Yes. We're awesome.
Oh my goodness.
The silent ones that everybody loves.
The perspective is really good. Have we talked about
Yes.
the perspective?
We have. It makes the whole thing. It draws your eyes towards Gubby's tail.
Well, yes, but it also makes the space seem incredibly vast.
Yeah.
It's a vast space, and the clouds help with that too, obviously, because the clouds, we know that clouds are quite big, and therefore when we see them in the background and they're all teeny tiny, we're like, oh man, that must be really far away.
I do
It
like.
also comes to a vanishing point, of course, which, as you mentioned, is Gummy's tail. So that's kind of cool. It does bring you towards Gummy in general. It's a very Gummy-centered piece, so naturally you'd probably want the focus of it to be around him as well.
Yeah.
Gummy is literally the center of the piece.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, his nose is.
He is the center of the universe, after all. I mean,
He is.
Yeah.
And he's glowing.
I did want to touch.
We are all his children.
I did want to touch on those outlines again that you brought up because I think they're really cool. They kind of have this like effect that makes them really pop out. Like there's a blur, like almost a fog around them, and so he kind of pops out from the background because you get like this kind of gray, bright. You get like this gray backing against a bright white outline, and then in front of that is green Gummy. So it really makes him stand out.
Yeah. It makes him pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think he's thinking here?
About
He's
life.
thinking maybe we should move on to the next art piece.
No, but this is our one chance to get existential.
We've gotten a bit too off track here, so why don't we move on to the very last piece, which is mine, and we can talk
Alright.
about that one.
Okay.
So, the one that I picked is called The Chosen One by Dark Flame, 75, I guess, technically. But we all know him as Dark Flame because we've known him for a little bit now. This is a wonderful piece of rainbow-powered Twilight, kind of just hanging around with her big fluffy tail and hair.
I'm shocked
I think this is a really awesome piece from Dark Flame. Dark Flame obviously is an incredible artist. He's got such a wonderful style. But this really stood out to me, I think, mostly because it wasn't Luna.
Yeah.
He's a Luna guy.
Yeah, as people might know, Dark Flame draws like almost exclusively Luna. But I think it also stood out to me because, in general, I have not been a really big fan of the rainbow-powered ponies. Like, it was a thing that happened, like, at the end of last season, and that's cool and all. But, like, I just wasn't a fan of them. I didn't like their designs. I've got a screenshot here of their designs, and they just don't. None of them look good to me. I'm not sure how other people felt about it, but I just didn't really like the designs for the rainbow powered. They look like OCs.
Some of them were good, some of them were not.
They're very toyetic.
Yeah, I think out of any of them, Twilight's was probably the best one. But even that, it came out a bit strange. And so what I like about this one is that he's portrayed it in such a way, he's adjusted the colors, he's toned things down a bit, it looks good. And if this is the way that it would have presented it in the show, I think I would have liked the rainbow characters a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I kind of like the way that he took the hooves, which in the show had like these very distinct sparkles, and he just kind of made them shiny and gave her like actual sparkles.
Yeah,
princess hooves.
They're more like princess hooves. I was about to say that. Yeah.
Also, I like
and he's done the thing with the wings.
Yeah, yeah. I like the angularity in her mane and tail. That's really cool.
Yeah, he likes. there's this kind of like blocky but not quite. It's in the middle. It's not smooth and flowing like hair normally would, but it's also not like big blocks, but it's somewhere in the middle. It's got these straight lines, but when it changes the angle, it takes a smooth curve around that angle. So
yeah, it's not Mystic Alpha-esque.
yeah, it's in like pieces in a way, but they all kind of merge together, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You can also see it in the body too. It's not just in the hair.
Yeah.
I really like the yellow in the mane and the tail. Like in the screenshot, it's actually yellow, but in Dark Flame's piece, it's more like a glow, more like a bright white almost. And it really stands out more than the other colors in her tail. So that's cool.
Yeah. Also, her hair is separated in this piece. Like the different colors in her hair are separated into different strands.
Yeah.
I think in general, this piece goes to show you how important color choice is, right? Like, this piece might just be good. Obviously, it's a great piece individually, but the reason why it might make me look at Rainbow Ponies a little bit better might just be because of the color selection. Twilight's colors in her body are a little bit less saturated, and her hair colors are less crazy. One of the things that really stands out to me about Rainbow Twilight is that her purple and her pink in her hair, which then obviously gets extended to her wings, gets like saturated like crazy. And this is something that you don't really see in the show too much. Like they tend to be pretty good about making something stand out but not be like crazy saturated. And so I guess obviously it was there for impact, but it's a bit disappointing to see something so in your face saturated, because that's kind of not the style that they usually go for. So to see something like this has got more traditional show colors, less saturated, less in your face, and more complementary to each other, and that might be the sole factor why this is making me reconsider the rainbow powered ponies.
No, it's not.
I like Rainbow Pinky.
It's just because it's Twilight. Best
Just
pony.
because
I like
it's
Rainbow
Twilight?
Punk's colors.
Yep.
All right there, lover boy.
You and your best pony.
Her wings, they have like a gradient that come in.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was talking about.
on the screenshot, it's just regular colors, but
It's
in the,
three distinct colors.
yeah. But in this, it's like a nice gradient, and it's got the stars as well, and the tips, and it sort of fades in. Oh, it's really nice.
It reminds me a
It's
little bit
almost
of
like
Cadence's
Cadence's.
wings.
Hey.
Did we just say it at the same time?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I like the outlines in this piece. I like how Dark Flame kind of did this variable width outline, but he also used this accent outline, this white outline, kind of like on the inside. And in a way, it almost gives it kind of a glossy feel in certain places, like in her horn and in her mane, like at least in the part of her mane that
glossy
goes around
Twilight.
there. Yeah.
She looks
Glossy
pretty
Twilight
pleased.
is best Twilight.
She's quite happy
Shiny
about
horse.
it. She's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, my wings! They look quite nice.
Yeah.
Yay!" Or maybe she's, maybe this is the second time she's transformed, and now she's like, "Ooh, I'm not quite as like ugly as before with my saturated colors. Yay!
Yeah.
That's quite nice." She almost looks kind of shy and embarrassed about it in a way,
Mm. You know what's funny is I'm looking at this the screenshot of the rainbow ponies, and Rarity just like looks like so meh about the transformation. Like usually she's all like, oh, fashion, like, oh, we look awesome, we're accessorizing and stuff like that, and in this screenshot she's just like
Yeah.
Yeah, Rarity's wasn't very good.
I mean, most of
colours.
them weren't really good though.
Pinky's
I mean,
was good.
I like
Pinky's
Fluttershy's.
Pinky's was okay. Fluttershy's was okay, but like, what's with all the green? Where did that come from? Like that's not even like her. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to put in her hair. Applejack's is bad. That pink and the red in the hair just doesn't work. Rarity's
She looks like a...
Rarity's is pretty
coffee
bad
apple.
too. And Rainbow Dash would be okay, but the wings are so awful. And like, let's be honest, all of the like tattoo-esque things on their hooves and stuff, that's just
That's too much.
that's bad on all of them, right? So yeah. I'm glad that's I think part of the amazing thing about fan art is, you can take a concept that might not have been executed perfectly and kind of recreate it And obviously, because Darkflame is such a spectacular artist, he can easily go through and recreate it in a way that looks very, very nice. This looks great, and it makes me reconsider not so much liking the rainbow ponies.
Yeah. Something that he
I
did.
have a rainbow pocket toy.
It makes you reconsider wanting Twilight to be best pony.
Wow,
Nah.
you're really
I
pushing
think
hard.
it's the opposite.
Is this why you wanted to be on this episode? So that you could push your
Maybe.
best pony-ism on us?
Propaganda. Your
Agenda.
best pwn propaganda.
You will see the light.
She is second best pone, so
She
that's
is
as much as you'll
bookless.
get out of me.
Pretty good. I'll take it.
She is definitely a pony. That's what you'll get from me.
The thing you have to understand about Joel is that he will say
You mean Picky Dash?
anything. He will say anything to annoy you when it comes to favorite pony. So he'll state, "My favorite pony is Pinkie Pie," and you'll be like, "What do you think about Rarity? I really like Rarity," and he's like, "Meh." He'll say meh to every other pony just to annoy you. So be careful.
Yeah.
Tread lightly.
Mm.
Yes.
So something that I really like in this piece that Darkflame did really well is the kind of the depth. The way that he desaturated and raised the value on her hair in these kind of steps. So the hair is not like a continual gradient of saturation and value, but there's like these kind of swirls. It's almost like Rarity's hair in a way, but there's these swirls, and each level of swirl is more and more desaturated, and the value is higher and higher. And it definitely kind of gives her. Oh, it's not really a pure 3D look, but it definitely gives it some depth.
So just to get some clarification there, when you said value was higher, you meant value was lighter.
Lighter,
correct?
yes.
Yeah, it's a bit vague when you say higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's an aspect of atmospheric perspective too. Like as you get farther away, things get less saturated. They get a bit of atmosphere in the way, right?
You mean atmospheric perspective?
No, not a thing. That's not a thing. But yeah, it's funny. I didn't even notice that her hair kept going past the initial swirls. But now that you've mentioned it, yeah, absolutely, they do.
It's a spiral.
background.
It spirals all the way back.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
you go.
Hey.
Wow.
no.
Okay.
Nice.
I will
Now
go.
I've got 3 of them.
I will go. It looks almost like either a comic book cover or a DVD cover or something like that, just in kind of the way that it's framed, and also the way that the background is kind of put in there. It's like
That's
very
what I was going to
plain,
talk
like-
about. Oh, good.
You
See,
Australians are all the same. I swear.
Now you know why you should have gone, because then you would have been able to get the point across instead of me. But now I get to-
Everyone's so sassy. My goodness.
Salty.
Yeah.
We do need to wrap this up. So, does anybody have one last point that they want to do about the piece before we get to the questions?
Her butt mark's really massive.
She does have a huge butt mark.
Yeah.
Her butt's massive.
It's not even on her butt.
It's true. It's kind of sliding down to her thigh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Isn't that a weird concept? Liquid cutie marks that just slide around.
Ooh.
That is a weird concept.
Mhm.
Yes, I will confirm
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the questions.
Hey.
Yay. Okay, so we have 2, I believe, this week.
Wow.
2 questions.
Wait, no, that's duh.
We highlighted 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, so first one is, what was the greatest challenge you've ever overcome in your life? By Nerdy Pup.
Nerdy Pup.
Nerdy pop.
What was the greatest challenge that you've ever had to overcome?
Oh, waking up early on Saturdays to record this.
The greatest
Someone
challenge
has
ever.
lived a
Wow.
privileged life.
I'm gonna get dark with this. So, is there anyone that wants to go before me? That's nice and cheerful, or do we want to do it in the dark?
What do you mean?
first?
How's this going to be cheerful? I mean, you can't make it dark like I have. Like there's a down and there's an up to this. That's the whole
Yeah.
point of the overcoming challenge.
That's true. Okay. I got very depressed at certain points in my life, and it was kind of a challenge to overcome that. It wasn't like like that far into depression, but like it was just kind of realizing that I had gotten to that point, and then kind of trying to work through it, and ponies helped, which was nice because I discovered them kind of right around that time. So yeah. I have a feeling that that's kind of similar to a lot of people who've experienced
Yeah,
that.
I think so.
Yeah, ponies bring quite a lot of joy, and so that might have brought a lot of people out of depression. I guess I can go next. Something that not many people know about me is that I have a leg condition. I was born, like, long story short, I was born with like a vein issue in my leg. It required 3 surgeries when I was 16 in order to make it like not suck. So I and it's still, there's still like side effects to it. My leg is weaker. I've got like arthritis in my knee and all this kind of jazz. But yeah, like going through, like, kind of, I don't know, it's weird because it wasn't a huge struggle at the time. When you're born with something, you kind of learn how to deal with it because you don't really know anything else, right? Like, there's no frame of reference for me. Like, I didn't, it's not like I got paralyzed after 20 years of living or something, like it's kind of something that's always been with me. But, it was very difficult to kind of deal with. There was a lot of pain associated with it, and the surgeries and recovering from the surgeries were, very difficult too. And it's still something that I kind of deal with on like a day-to-day basis. So, that's kind of a challenge that I kind of have to deal with. But, overcoming it is, I think, a really positive thing. The challenges in our lives often leads to the best kind of lessons in our lives, and so, yeah, I don't know how I overcame it. I don't know. It's kind of a day-by-day process, and learning how to live with something and kind of accept who you are and stuff like that is a big part of it.
Challenge that I overcame. I'm gonna go with at uni we had to create a game, right? And we had about 6 months from start to finish to do that. So only 2 people in a group, and yeah, we needed to come up with a concept and program it and test it, models, animations, all that. So that was a really tough time. I pretty much worked non-stop on that for a few months, and yeah, that was a massive challenge for me that I overcame. I was going to say acne because I had a hard time with that in school, but yeah, that seems a lot less important now, if that makes sense. Like, after the fact, it sort of doesn't even seem like that much of a challenge, really. It was just something I dealt with.
Yeah. No, I think that can apply to a lot of challenges in life once you're through them. It especially around the ages of like middle school and high school, because the way that our brains develop in kind of child brain development, things seem so important, in those years. And they've actually studied this, and it's to do with the way that your brain grows. Things are like so incredibly important to you, and you feel like they're the most important things in the world. And as your brain develops and as you gain more experiences in life, you suddenly realize that stuff back then isn't quite as important as you thought it was. And so having something like that affect you in those years, I'm not surprised that you might have a similar reaction where it's like, it's not that important anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Joel?
I actually do have a real one. When I was 8, I moved countries from New Zealand to Australia. And at that age, of course, primary school, people in New Zealand speak differently to people in Australia. They have a different accent, right? So you come here in primary school, everyone's like, hey, say this word, say this thing, say this, and then they laugh at you when they say it because you sound different, right?
Right.
So that sucked for like 3 years.
Right, yeah.
And then I eventually left that school and went to high school / middle school, so that was fine. I didn't sound so funny by then.
Well, and I'm sure, like, moving in general as a kid, I didn't know you were that old when you moved to Australia, but moving in general as a kid is often quite difficult.
Yeah.
You have to, like, make all new friends and stuff like that. That's tough.
I remember one time at that primary school, at the school disco night, I managed to lock myself in a toilet. Because
Like
it was
by
after
accident?
hours, right? Yeah, like by accident. It was after hours,
Nice.
so I went and found a bathroom because I had to pee or something. And then the door closed behind me and then locked, and I couldn't unlock it. I was either not old enough or I couldn't reach it, or I couldn't figure it out. Either way, I locked myself in a bathroom.
Wow.
Good effort.
I think that's probably the bigger challenge.
I screamed a lot. And then
Overcoming the
eventually a teacher
bathroom
found me.
door. That's funny.
Mind you, this was like 7 o'clock at night, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was kind of depressing. Let's move on to the next question. Woo!
If you could give a superpower to each other, you can't give one to yourself, what would it be? By Anonymous.
Cool. So
be
this is going to take a
4
really long
episodes.
time unless we like each pick one other person. So does anybody have one in mind, and we can distribute people's like assignments like accordingly?
Well, I was going to give Ted Wolverine's powers, but Wolverine's claws aren't really a superpower. His superpower is regeneration. So
Okay, so
Yeah.
you wanted.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna give Ted a really like.
Does
violent
anybody else have
power.
anyone else in mind for this one?
I was gonna give Bernd rambling powers, but he already has those. So
He already has those.
Mm.
He is a rambling man.
So basically, nobody has anyone in mind for this. All right. Well, we're all gonna pick one other person, and give them superpowers.
Oh, why are you making us choose?
Well, no, I'm not. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have to choose four
Ooh.
times as much
Ooh.
if I don't make you choose.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do you, Rainbow Plasma.
Okay.
All right. So I would give you the ability to rewind time
Okay.
Uh-huh.
because I think that would be a cool power for you to come to terms with, and yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay. At first, I was like, "What are you talking about?" But so story behind this. So Duel has been bugging me for like a month to play a game called Life is Strange, and
Yeah.
it's a game. It's a game about an 18-year-old girl named Max who is in like a high school, and she suddenly gains the ability to turn back time.
I get it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Mm.
It was an answer, and that's more than any of us have. So, I will give Bernd
Mm-hmm.
the superpower to never have to sleep. Because he
That's
seems to have a
good.
really big difficulty
Yeah.
with getting to bed on time, and he always wakes up super late and gets up like and goes to bed super late. So, I want him to have endless energy, so he never like has those like sleepy mornings.
That's very true. He doesn't sleep. We were playing Hearthstone at like 3 a.m. for him last night.
Oh no, he does sleep.
That's early for him.
Just at the wrong time.
He just sleep. So he sleeps from like he gets up at like 3 p.m. to record the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single time for him. For us, it's like 6, and for Joel, it's something else.
Mm.
But for him, it's like 3 p.m. and he gets up to record the podcast. So I don't know what time he goes to bed, but it's usually like probably like what 7.
So he's a bat horse, a nocturnal
Yeah.
pony.
Horse.
Yes,
horse.
he's absolutely a bat horse. All right, how about you
Joel,
two?
I will give you the ability to create things from video games in real life.
Who?
Because I
Very
know you like Minecraft and Kerbal and stuff, and so I could see you like creating Kerbal spaceships like in real life.
The world is your Minecraft now.
Yeah.
I would be pro this.
Yeah.
Cool. Joel?
I was trying to think. I give Ted the ability to talk to animals.
Yay!
Oh, that's cool. That's a
Yeah.
cool idea.
That'd be cool.
Also Silver.
Then I
Oh
could,
yeah, you give her that ability too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I
cool.
Not the ability
You
to
know-
talk to Silver. I'll give Silver the ability to talk to
I
Yeah.
can't do that now. Jeez.
Yeah. I like I like how this question turned out because it was a little bit less like what do we think the best ones will be, and more just like here's some cool abilities that we want to throw around. That's cool.
Mhm.
I like that.
Someone give me a power. I want my cutie mark power.
Sure.
Mhm.
You will get the power.
To be on a
to-
Cutie Art Crusaders episode.
You'll get the power
Whee!
to damn. I was gonna think either fly or travel really quickly so that you could
You
see
can
the
snore
world.
really, really loud.
No, that's your superpower, Joel.
Oh,
I got
no,
teleportation.
I was trying to give it away. Give it to someone.
So the reason why I wanted to give you that
Oh,
is
one of
because
them
you've never been outside. You're the only one of us that hasn't been outside of your own country,
Mm-hmm.
and you're kind of isolated with Australia, so everything's kind of expensive to get off of there. So I think it'd be cool for you to be able to like fly, so you could go see like Europe and like North America and stuff like that.
That would be awesome.
So there, that's your
That would be
superpower.
cool.
Maybe
Yeah.
teleportation.
Your arms get tired flying that far.
Flying would be cool
no.
though.
Flap, 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 flap.
Yeah.
And,
And I think we're missing Joel, aren't we?
No, I gave Joel the
No.
ability to create things from video games.
Are we missing anyone though? No, we're not.
No.
Okay,
No,
cool.
we're good. So yeah, Duel is actually coming to BronyCon, so that's his first time ever being outside of Australia. Which
So I
is
will
true.
be flying.
Yeah.
It's
Going to come true.
Well, let's get into that, but in just a second, let's do the plugs first.
Okay, so we have a number of things. We have Cutie Art Crusaders on everything. Go to Picardo and search for Cutie Art Crusaders in the top right. You'll find us. We are cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com, cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com, youtube.com/cutieartcrusaders, cutieartcrusaders.tumblr.com, facebook.com/cutieartcrusaders, and add Cutie Art Crusade because Tumblr needs to be different.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
That's not Tumblr, that's Twitter. You mean Twitter.
That one.
No, Tumblr
Twitter.
needs to be different too.
I mean, Tumblr Tumblr is different, and I'm using air quotes here like I would use like to say Tumblr is special. So, Anyways, so I was just going to talk a little bit about how we were going to the con, and just to remind people that we're going to the con. So, so there's a bunch of us going to the con. I'm going to list it off. There's me, Rainbow Plasma. There's Ted, aka Flutterguy317. There's Bernd, aka Bernd. There's Duel. So Duel is going to BronyCon as well. And there's also Late Customer. So Dave, a friend of ours, is going to BronyCon. And Kate, aka Celebi Yoshi, is rooming with us as well. So there's a bunch of awesome people who are going to BronyCon. There's probably even more that I'm not even listing. Dark Flame's going, and there's so many people that are going.
Is Mahara going?
Mahara
is going, yes.
Assassin
Matt's
Monkey
going.
is going.
Assassin Monkey is going.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have the opportunity to head down to BronyCon, I would highly recommend it. Obviously, tickets are still on sale, so feel free to do that. In addition,
So basically everybody except Silver and I.
well, yes,
we wish you
because
could come here.
Yes, I know.
But-
We wish you could. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done coddling you on this. So,
No.
and we also have a panel. So if you're coming out to BronyCon, it's mandatory that you have to come see our panel, or else you'll be kicked out. Sorry, it's just it's just a weird con thing, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
not
part
totally
of
not our-
it's part of like the sign up process. Like there's a
exactly
thing
like
where
you have to come to the Cutie Art Crusaders
Yeah.
panel. We still don't have information about when or where that will be. As soon as we know, you guys will know. So stay tuned for that. But please come out to our panel. It'd be awesome, and we'll totally sign stuff and do other crazy cool stuff as well. Yeah. And besides that, I was going to talk about one more thing. Yes. So next week, we are going to have our 3-year anniversary.
Yay! With two
and
of
that'll
us
be-
missing.
Yeah, and there'll be 2 of us missing because Bernd, we don't know, probably won't be here, and Joel, you're going to be off in Bali, something like
Baloo.
that. Baloo, yeah, you're going to be off in Baloo.
Dubbity dubbity.
And so it's just going to be the 2 of us. We don't really know what we're going to do for that next episode. We might bring on a guest. We might do something else like that. But I do know something that we are doing, and that is featuring some fan art. So if you'd like to be on the show and if you'd like to have your fan art featured, then please send in some 3-year specific, third-year specific fan art, and we'll feature it. We've already gotten some awesome stuff. We've got some stuff from Montaku AP and a couple other people that we're going to feature on. So for the record, when this comes out, that will be June 30th. So you have 3 days to make our 3-year anniversary stuff if you want to be on the show, because we will be recording on the 3rd of July. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. So if you do want to make fan art, here's your last opportunity to do so.
That's a lot of 3s.
And it's a lot of 3s.
You know what that means?
3.
Yes.
Confirmed. All right. And that's everything. Does anybody else have anything else to say?
There may.
I'm
Sorry, we're good. What?
No, I
what
think
I
he was
wanted
just
to
saying gibberish. You can ignore.
Oh, okay. There may or may not be a spoiler cast for this episode because we have some attendance issues.
Yeah, we're there's a bunch of people who are going to be
Yeah,
away.
I question everybody's commitment to this podcast.
There's going to be a bunch of people away.
Or Joel, you could just do like a monologue about the episode and send it to.
I don't
Matt,
trust
and then-
this. I'm vetoing
no,
this.
it would be totally awesome.
I'm vetoing this.
You should do that and send it to me, and I'll put it up on the server.
Oh no! All right,
I'll just record my own thing and put it up on our YouTube channel.
call it Joel's rants.
Mm.
So there'll be several spoiler casts.
Joel's pants.
Joel's
Joel's pants. Today I bought a nice pair of jeans. They fit me quite nicely. All right. Well, that is everything for this episode, guys. Thank you so much, Duel, for coming on and filling in for Bernd. It was fun having you. We'll have to have you on some other time when we're short.
Yeah, it was heaps of fun.
Cool. Awesome. Well, without further ado, that's everything. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that all of you viewers enjoyed this episode as well. Whether or not you're on the live stream or on YouTube, we love you all the same. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Photograph317.
I'm Dewlshock.
Come on! The Australians! One more time from the top. I'm Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Photograph317.
I'm Atmospark.
And I'm Dewlshock.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.